How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Rowlett, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Now, I'm going to run through this really quickly. I'm doing a response video to another YouTuber called Wolf Den, who made a video called Pokemon Let's Go Isn't Hardcore Enough, with quotation marks on the isn't hardcore enough thing right there. Now, there are a lot of fallacies in this video, which I want to debunk and go against, as I have my own opinion on this, and I found a lot of issues with this video, and I personally want to share my thoughts on it. If you do not agree with me, that is totally fine. If you agree with what they're saying, that is totally okay. I'm not, like, attacking you for, liking what they're saying, or even liking Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but I feel like the way they went about, giving their opinions here was kind of condescending and rude. So let's get started with the actual intro of the video here. The first minute and 47 seconds, I think, 45 seconds here, yeah, up until here, all they really do is, like this guy describes in the comment section down here, the best way to win an argument is to find the dumbest people on the other side and refuse their points. I'm sorry, but those comments at the start really don't represent the discussion well. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to remove features from the new games, that's fine. So as long as the price drops with the amount of content. Oh, what's that? They increased the price to 150% of what it was in prior games? I'm sorry, but I'm not paying extra so that I can't properly battle with or evolve my Pokemon in a game with little to no visual upgrades from Sun and Moon. Wake me when the main series comes back. And I agree with this, right? And the first point of what I agree the most here is that you shouldn't use the arguments and the dumb things from people who just, like, kind of spam and can't even spell properly. Like, you shouldn't just do that. Like, that's what they mostly did here. They used a few, they had a few ones that, like, sounded normal and good, but then most of them, they just made funny voices and try to make them look like dum-dums, essentially, and used the dumbest arguments and didn't actually take any proper arguments into consideration. Now, I'm going to skip through this as fast as possible because I don't want to get this video to be 50 minutes long as well, because I already recorded this video 5 times already now, I think. Yeah, 5 times. 4, but whatever. 5 times I re-recorded it. The last one was 50 minutes long. I'm going to redo this real quick in at least 15 minutes. So let's get started here. So they go through these things. I don't like the being essentially condescending and, taking these really, few here and there kind of comments from people that just kind of like either don't know how to properly spell or articulate or even forward their thoughts in a proper manner. Instead, you're taking the ones that just, you just take the stupid ones. You don't take the proper ones. So that's a little bit condescending in my eyes and just stupid. Why would you do that? Just be upfront instead. I hate when YouTubers do this. A lot of YouTubers do this when they want to make an argument that somebody else's audience or some certain sort of people are stupid, so they take all the dumb comments and they don't take any proper criticism instead. So let's get started here. So, in the first 50 seconds here, I get really pissed off.
What do you think Pokemon is?
What do I think Pokemon is? Well, I think everybody here can agree on Pokemon is a journey where you start as a little kid, you go through a journey that is from point A to point B, where you explore, catch Pokemon, battle trainers, battle gym leaders, take on the Elite Four, become a champion, catch all 151 back in Gen 1, and, more and more as the new regions come out. That's what Pokemon is. So he's trying to make the argument here, which I really think is stupid, that apparently Pokemon isn't for people that want to play it hardcore. And I'm not even saying, like, there isn't really a hardcore base. There's just people that are more competitive in the game, and people who want more of a challenge rather than games being dumbed down and more casualized. And that's what the issue is. These guys are trying to argue that, oh, what's the deal with Pokemon being hardcore? Pokemon is a game for children. Pokemon shouldn't be this and that, right? That's a dumb argument. You can't just be like, oh, since when is Pokemon hardcore? Well, I mean, since the people realized that you can make it into a more competitive aspect type of game, it had more competitive aspects as you kind of look at it. There are ways to play it more competitively. Besides, either way, let's just listen to what he says here.
At exactly what point did it become a hardcore competitive game? It's always been targeted towards kids.
No, it has not. Yes, it was initially targeted for children. As it progressed, yeah, sure, it was a game with cute little monsters and stuff, but if you actually paid attention to the game, there were aspects of it that are, there are aspects to the games which are harder than something like a 5-year-old will understand, right? The games were aimed around like 9 to like 15 years in age, right? They have like a 7+ on them, but like they were they were aimed for those sort of ages, right? As the games progressed, as we got into like other generations, because there were more serious themes, there were more interesting characters, there was, there was a presence of like, more maturity somewhat. Not super mature, it's still Pokemon, let's be honest, but like there was more maturity. But what does this game having to be for children have to do with the game being so dumbed down to a point where it's literally, there's no reason to play it because it's just you're on a rail, right? You're on a rail. It's a rail game. You're not even doing anything at that point. Let's continue.
And that's not to say that you can't enjoy it as a grown-ass man. I sure do. Well, to the best of my ability.
And then he makes a gag here, trying to make fun of the fact that, oh, you have to spam to make, like, the text go away and, to use moves when you're in a battle with an encounter or something. Trying to essentially, point out in a gag that, oh, it's so, Pokemon, it's, oh, how hardcore it is when all you do is mash a button. Dude, please stop. Like, come on. The games were made with the aspect of battling encounters for a reason. Now, I'm not even trying to advocate that Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Give You are bad games. They can be interesting, they can be good, but there are issues, and there is a reason. There is valid reasons. Not one reason or two reasons like you guys point out in this video, and then shut down those reasons as well. There are legitimate reasons, and far more than just two. What are those issues? Well, we'll get to them. So, let's continue here. This is just dumb. He goes on for way too long about this whole, like, gag here about, oh, spamming the button, dude. If you want to remove this aspect, you're just removing all the Pokemon is. This is what Pokemon is. However you look at it, Pokemon is supposed to be a grindy game. That's what it just is made for. Not a game where literally you can skip through every Pokemon because, oh, I can see them in the overworld, which is not a problem. I like the Pokemon being in the overworld, but I would like to also battle them when they're in the overworld. I like to battle them because that is more fun. You know, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to be bored of just throwing Pokeballs on Pokemon well after, like, catching 50 or so of them. You're just going to be bored of it. It's just going to get lame after a while because the mechanic is going to be boring. There is not much depth to it. They literally lacks any sort of depth, and that's what the issue is. If the catching mechanic had something extra to it, maybe, you know, you could actually do some sort of battling, like maybe injure the Pokemon somewhat or something, you know, some extra mechanics to it, then sure. This has nothing. Oh, the Pokemon can move left and right a little bit? Wow, how innovative. Either way, let's continue.
To be dead.
But to think that the people at Game Freak are going to cater to your incredibly niche interests is a...
How is a niche interest the way the games were in the past? Literally, this makes no sense, right? If you look at all the Pokemon games, how is this any of this niche? Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Blue and Yellow, right? These games, the best selling, or, you know, these were the best selling Pokemon games of all time, right? Were these not filling in the niche for what the players love? What do players really love? You're trying to say that there's this hardcore base. Do you even realize what this hardcore base even consists of? You know, if you were gonna call it hardcore base like you do, what I call them is just fans of Pokemon. People that are fans and want a better game. That's all they are. Not hardcore fans. They're just fans that love Pokemon as much as anybody else does, but they want to make sure that the games they get are worthwhile and good. What are the issues with this game? Well, the issue with Let's Go is it lacks depth. It lacks anything substantial. It's missing a bunch of features that are essential for Pokemon, and that's what the issue is. The Pokemon has always had, like, several layers to it. You know, you've got the general battles against encounters. You've got the battles against trainers, the battles against gym leaders, then Elite Four, right? You've got different stages there, but then you also have stuff that you can do in post-game. And even during the gameplay, before you even complete the gyms, you can shiny hunt, which is also a big aspect of Pokemon that a lot of people do. People even created specific challenge runs back in, like, 2010, 2012, because Pokemon was getting easier and easier with, like, X and Y, ORAS, Sun and Moon, etc., right? People started creating stuff like Nuzlocke. You know what I mean? Like specific challenge runs to make the games harder for themselves because the games were starting to get easier and easier as each iteration came. And now we've hit the peak of easiness. We are so casual at this point that it's so ridiculous. Literally, the games are like mobile games at this point. You don't even need to do anything. You just walk straight forward past everything. All the Pokemon you use are overpowered. Pikachu has so many moves that are ridiculously strong. Double kick, a surf move. It's got electric type moves as well. Hey, swear to God, if they give it a fire type move as well, we're fucking done. Like, seriously, it's just the fact that, like, they're removing features and they're making the gameplay way too easy. That's what the problem is. It's not that people hate that the Pokemon are the overworld, which they'll argue right here.
A bit of a stretch.
In my experience, when talking about Pokemon, you are bound to find a contingent of fans that believe Game Freak exists to cater to competitive players.
No, that is not even a thing. That's not a thing. People don't think that, and there isn't that sort of like little special base of people that do that. If you want to play competitively, you go on Showdown. Currently, what do we have? Like, right now, 12,000 people. There's where you go if you want to play competitively. That's the area for competitive play. You go to Showdown. You don't sit and wait for for Game Freak to release like a new Pokemon game that's a Kanto remake that's going to have, you know, new competitive basis to it. You're waiting for brand new Pokemon to come out. That's when you're interested because that's going to change the meta for the people on Showdown. And then, you know, if they do some VGC type of play. Other than that, they don't care much. They just want to make sure that you don't fuck up the future generations and don't make some things more overpowered than other things and that sort of stuff. They just care about the future meta. They don't give a shit about Let's Go and stuff. They don't care about it. They're just like, hey, it's just the same Pokemon as before. Unless we get some new Mega Evolutions, I don't really care. And you do mention earlier in here, like, oh, there might be Mega Evolutions, you know, for post-game and stuff. Yeah, sure, but Megas aren't enough to make these games worthwhile buying. Sure, I was happy when I first heard about the possibility of the trademarks being real. I love the fact that we might be getting new Megas, but they're still just Kanto Megas, and that's another problem. This is just another Kanto remake. We've seen Kanto in every single iteration of Pokemon. Gen 1, all Kanto. Gen 2, Gold and Silver, had Kanto as an extra region because they were too afraid you wouldn't sell well if they didn't include Kanto as well. Ruby Sapphire, during that same generation, you had Fire Red Leaf Green release. Diamond and Pearl, during that same generation, you had Heart Gold Soul Silver remakes that also still featured Kanto in them. Black and White, the whole games of Black and White and Black and White 2 are all based off of the basis, and they were supposed to be a reboot of the Pokemon series, and every single Pokemon in Black and White was based on a Pokemon from Gen 1. So still has a connection Gen 1 there, though totally different, and I think they were great games, but a lot of people hated them because a lot of the designs were kind of poor to some people. X and Y, the only game I can think of that doesn't have any direct connection as far as I can tell, but, you know, I don't know. Sun and Moon, literally in that game as well, so many callbacks to Kanto all the time, callbacks, okay, not direct connections, not a way to travel to Kanto, but constant callbacks, and every single Alola Pokemon that we got, Alolan Form Pokemon, sorry, was actually a Kanto Pokemon, not a single Johto, Sinnoh, Hoenn, Unova, Kalos, any of that. It was just, specifically, just Pokemon from Kanto, and that's it. Ultra Sun and Moon, same thing, and that's it. Now we're going to Let's Go, which is a literal remake again of Kanto, which we already had with Fire Red Leaf Green, so we're just getting it again and again and again. It's almost every generation there is a connection to Kanto in one way or another in either one of the freaking games that are released, or in the generation there's always a game that somewhat features Kanto heavily in one way or another, and that's the problem. People don't want Kanto to be shoved down their throat. People aren't complaining that these games are, you know, not catering to their competitive prowess. People aren't saying that. If you want to play competitively, people go to Showdown. This is where you go to play competitively. The people who that are complaining are people like me who don't play competitively. I don't play competitive. I suck in competitive. But guess what? I think it's fun once in a while to go on the online play. And hey, if I want to do a little bit of, you know, maybe like, I don't know, I want to do doubles, you know, singles, etc., whatever. Or hey, maybe I want to do some battles, well, whatever. I don't know. Like, you know, having those options is what we like having. We like having those options for post-game, etc., but that's besides the point. Nobody's arguing that these games are catering, that these games should be catered to specifically the hardcore fan base. Like, nobody's saying that. Either way, let's continue.
They attempt to back up this view by pointing to the money Pokemon Company pumps into their competitive scene. These people are all...
I don't know where you got that info from. I would love to know some actual details on that, because I haven't heard anybody talk about Game Freak or Pokemon Company funneling money into the competitive scene, and that being a reason for them trying to make the games more competitive. And how does this argument even work? This literally doesn't even make any sense. So you're trying to say that people who are saying that these games, that Game Freak are trying to cater to competitive players, are saying that they're funneling money into competitive play, and because of that, the Game Freak is focusing on competitive players, but then that makes no sense, because that totally breaks when you just look at the fact that they're releasing Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and just look back at all the previous games as well that are just getting easier and easier per iteration. What logic is there even in the arguments here? It doesn't make any sense. Now, I may be wrong. I may be totally off. If you could, you know, give some proper, like, proof here of people saying this, I would love to know, because I don't know. I've never seen that before. But either way, let's continue.
Also the ones that seem to think the games need to go completely unchanged beyond this mythical Goldilocks phase they think Pokemon has been in for the past 22 years in order to be successful. And
no, stop. Right there. There's the issue. Where is the change here? This is where I find the biggest issue with this video. I'm sorry, but where is the change? Where is the innovation that you mentioned earlier, like next in the video, further on here? They talk about innovation and change and all this stuff. We're literally getting the same game again. We're getting the same game minus features. Did you not read the comments on your own video, on your previous videos where you covered Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee? Did you not read any of the proper comments? Like this guy right here, literally he says it to you right here. If you want to remove features from the new Pokemon game, that's fine, so long as the price drops. And that's the issue. We're paying more money for a rehash of Kanto again in 3D, just with the same graphics as Sun and Moon essentially, which I'm totally fine with. I'm okay with it, but you're charging us more money for something that isn't really an upgrade, but rather a downgrade with less features in it. How is this innovation? You're removing parts of the game and giving us less in return. How is that innovation? Plus, these innovative things you're talking about, they're just mechanics from Pokemon Go. Those are not innovative. Those are not new. It's just taking Pokemon Go and putting it on the freaking Switch with a little bit of Kanto sprinkled on top for the nostalgia's sake, so you can sell more copies, because you know this game is not catering or even going to give, like, the people who, you know, play Pokemon a lot and buy every single game are not going to be too interested in this. I mean, have you seen the responses? The community split 50-50 right now because they don't feel like this is a game worthwhile for them. Let's continue.
I mean, that's just dumb, honestly.
No, it's not dumb. How is it dumb? Nobody is complaining about innovation. Pokemon should innovate in a good way and not just take features from the Pokemon Go app and the Pokemon Go game and then slap that onto the freaking box and be like, this is a new game. We're being innovative. We're doing something different. That's why you should play our game. That isn't being innovative. That's literally you just doing the most bare minimum, and it doesn't mean it's good. You know, change isn't always good. Making something different doesn't make it good. You get that? Like, it's a pretty common thing, right? Just because you think something, you may do something differently doesn't make it an actually good thing. And this isn't good. We're just getting less features. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe, again, I'm going to be honest here. It could be that I'm wrong. It could be that all of us who are complaining about this, we might be wrong. Because guess what? The games aren't out yet. That's why I've always argued that wait. If you're not sure about these games, wait and see how the games turn out. Look at reviews from several sources. Get an informed opinion, right, from different sources, and then decide if you want to buy these games. If you hate them and you don't want to buy them, then don't buy them. If you love them and you want to buy them, go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. I give you all the power, man. If you want to buy the game, you want to love it, go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. But don't be condescending and attack people and call people dumb for simply having an opinion that differs from what you think, an opinion that I think holds some validity to it, the same way some of your opinions and your thoughts hold validity. For example, they make a point later in here that these games are supposed to be for the casual audience. I mean, oh, look at all the people that play Pokemon Go, you know? The game is supposed to be casual. And yeah, I could also make that argument, but you do it in such a condescending way. Be more reasonable about it. Give both sides of the story, and more than just two arguments for the side that I'm on, which is the side of Let's Go being pretty meh games. You know, give more of our thoughts into it, and then counter with good points of your own, rather than just being like, oh, these people are stupid. Do some actual proper, like, you know, do something proper here rather than just like bullshitting through it. Either way, let's continue.
Most of the people that are interested in jumping back into Pokemon games likely don't even know this scene.
Why do people need to jump into these games? Okay, here's the thing that I'm really, really torn on when they mention this, is that people jumping back in these games. What are you talking about? Pokemon still sells like crazy. Like, where are Pokemon doing bad? Let's look at this, right? Pokemon, the first games sold 31 million. The Gold and Silver games, and I'm only gonna look at the mainline 2 iteration games. Like, I'm not looking at the extras that always come, but look at this, right? 31 million on the first games, 23 million on the second ones, right? Those, of course, are always gonna be the best. It's always your first ever product that sells the best, and every single iteration past that is gonna sell less no matter what. You're never gonna achieve the same sales unless you literally pull some crazy marketing off and you get super lucky. You're not gonna be able to pull off the same sales here, and that's what you notice with Pokemon. 31 million, then 23 million, and then look at the sales here. They stay around the same for well over a decade. Well over almost a decade and a half almost. Like, you've got the same sales here. 16 million, 17 million, then 15 million, then 16 million, then 16 million again, right? They keep being consistent. So where in your eyes are these dormant fans? Where are these fans that are gone? They're still here. There's no change. There's no difference. When they re-released Fire Red Leaf Green, when it was like a remake, like they did a remix of Red and Green, those sold 12 million. That's, you know, that's still good. And those were also remakes. Of course, yeah, these games will sell a lot of money. They will make a lot of money. They'll sell a lot. And of course, Game Freak might even sell, like, if they're lucky, maybe 20 million. I don't think they will. I think they'll maybe max out at 10 million on these games because of the fact that, well, there's not enough, like, switches in the circulation yet. There needs to be more in circulation before they can actually make that amount of sales. But hey, if they peak like 10 million or 15 million, that's still good sales. But guess what? That doesn't mean that those people that came back are going to stay. Right? That doesn't mean that they're going to stay just because you gave them Kanto again. That doesn't mean anything. All those people are going to leave the moment they play through Let's Go. They're not going to come back for 2019. They're just going to be gone. And then we are going to have to, you know, pick up the slack and buy the games next year again. You know, the 2019 games, whatever they end up being. I hope they end up being good. That would be fantastic. But having this argument that, oh boy, you know, oh, blah, 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 all this, like,
exists in the first place.
Pokemon Let's Go is targeted towards new fans and
nobody's saying that they aren't.
Old fans who have been dormant for a while. The hope is that the original lineup of Pokemon will give old fans the dose of nostalgia needed to get back.
What are you talking about? Every single Pokemon, I already mentioned this earlier, but every single Pokemon game has a dose of nostalgia. How do you not notice this? Literally, like I said, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, yeah, Gen 4, Gen 5, give or take, Gen 6, nope, Gen 7, hell yes. All these games have Kanto inserted in every little, like, hole you can think of. They've always inserted Kanto into it, no matter what. So this argument that, oh, you know, you got to make sure to pull them in with the nostalgia, it's bullshit. Either way, let's continue.
Back into the series. But these fans wouldn't exactly be experienced gamers either. Think about the type of people that you knew playing Pokemon Go at the height of its popularity. All of the
Okay, so tell me this. Why do you think that Pokemon Go players will go out and buy these games? You do realize one thing, right, buddy? Like, this is something that's an obvious fact. Pokemon Go players play Pokemon Go for a reason. It's on the phone and it's free. You don't need to own another console to play it. You don't need to buy this for like $300 and something. You don't need to buy this to play Pokemon Go. You just open up your phone, download a free app, and you can play it for free forever. You don't need to spend a penny. If you want to spend money on it to just increase your speed of getting Pokeballs and all that shit, whatever it may be, then yeah, you can do it. But guess what? They play it on this thing because it's free. There's a reason they play it on this, because it's easy to play. It's easy to just pull out your phone when you're on a bus stop waiting for, like, the bus to come, and you see, oh, there's a Pidgey here. Let me just catch that Pidgey real quick. That's, there's a reason it has such a big player base, because it's accessible, because it's free. That doesn't mean that these people are going to jump over, especially the Pokemon Go fans. I've seen so many Pokemon Go fans being like, what the fuck is Let's Go? We don't even know what it is. We're not going to be playing it, because we only really care about Pokemon, Go. We don't care about Let's Go. That's not the game we want. It's not important to us. Now, is that every single fan? No. But a lot of their hardcore fans don't care. They don't care about these things. And also, there's a big issue with Pokemon Go fans, whereas a lot of Pokemon Go fans that just play Pokemon Go don't even know that there exist other, generations and stuff. Like, they don't even know what Gen 2, 3, 4 and whatnot is. So how likely do you think it is that they would even bother considering of buying a Switch just to play Pokemon freaking, Let's Go on it? Like, how likely do you seriously think that is? Even they want more new Pokemon and not just Kanto Pokemon again, because they've been catching Kanto Pokemon for 2 or so years now. I think most of them also just want something new. This isn't really catering to many people, except the really, really casual people that barely, they know Pokemon base level and maybe played, red, blue, green, maybe gold, silver when they were kids, and that's really it. And those people might jump in. Maybe their parents will buy it for them, or something like that. I don't really know, but my point is, there's not that huge of an audience that really, from Pokemon Go at least, that will jump over it. It's unlikely. Either way, let's continue.
Long-term Pokemon fans, the ones...
Also, by the way, it's totally fine. I agree. These games are catering towards a casual audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I was arguing like really crazy a second ago, but I will agree. There is a reason for these games existing. They're supposed to be more casual.
What? You think you're not getting this one? You're getting this one.
No, this is what I hate, right?
They're getting both.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Why are you being so condescending? You're getting both. Yeah, you're gonna get both. I hate this. Sorry, Wolfden, you're probably a really great guy, and YouTube, I guess there's 2 of you. You're probably great people, but fucking hell, why do you have to be so condescending about this? It's so snarky. It just sounds so snarky. Just be freaking, just don't have this snarky attitude about it. Just be fucking reasonable about it, right? Don't have to sound so condescending to people for simply just not liking these games. The only reason I'm buying them is because I'm a fucking YouTuber and I'm covering Pokemon in general, and I'm covering Pokemon Let's Go on my channel every single day, hoping that these games will end up being good. But I've told people a million times, don't buy the game if you're unsure about them. Wait until you see reviews and then consider buying it. Wait if you're unsure. If you hate them already and you don't want to buy them, don't buy them. If you already want to buy them, you already pre-ordered, then good for you. Whatever, do what you gotta do. But, if you're unsure, don't buy them. Wait and, just chill and see what happens. Pokemon's success and my success. As a Pokemon YouTuber, as long as Pokemon does well, I do well. So I want Pokemon to succeed, but I also want to get a good product in return for the money I'm spending. And there's a lot of money being spent here. These games are more expensive now. $60. Yeah, I mean, in the past, they were less money, but seriously, you're asking us $60 for essentially less features and a rehash of a generation we've already seen at least 3 times in game at this point in mainline games exclusively. I mean, actually, no, more times than that. Actually, about 6 to 7 times if you count all the extra additions of games like, your Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Gold, Silver, Crystal, etc. Right? You've seen it too many times at this point. I think most people are kind of done with Kanto for a long time. People are mostly done with it. But either way, let's continue.
Like every other rational human worth their weight in berries.
One of the biggest complaints I'm seeing from Pokemon diehards is the omission of random encounters, a series staple in Pokemon and a trope in the RPG.
No. See, here's where you miss something. No, people aren't really angry about the Pokemon being the overworld, which is what he's trying to, state here, that people are angry, and I'm going to skip through a little bit here because all they go through here is saying that essentially people who complain about it are essentially dumb for the fact that, oh, it's just a tedious act, and do you really want it just to be tedious acts? Like, what's the point of it? Let me explain something, right? No, people aren't angry about random encounters being gone. I like, and I think most people like that the Pokemon are in the overworld. It makes the game a bit more interesting because you can see the Pokemon. The issue is that you can't battle those Pokemon. That's where we have an issue. We have a problem where we can't battle them. What's the point in doing all this if we can't even battle the Pokemon we encounter and all we can do is catch them? All we can do is throw Pokeballs. That will get boring and it's less interesting. At least with battles, there could be more interesting situations. Look at like Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon had Golisopod, which was a shit festival Pokemon for me when I was trying to catch it during one of my like randomizer playthroughs. It was a really confusing Pokemon because it has the ability to flee away from you just when you think you have it in your grasp. That's interesting because you got to think ahead of time. You got to make sure like, oh, maybe I'll put sleep on this thing, you know, put it asleep and something like that, and then I'll throw a Pokeball, maybe do a little bit of damage, put maybe a poison on it to get the HP down fast, and you know, I can pop off my Ultra Ball or something like that. You know what I mean? There's more thinking to it. With these games, all you're doing is throwing Pokeballs 24/7 with zero difficulty. And that's the problem. These games lack depth. That's where the problem is. They lack depth. They're probably also going to be very easy to play through due to the fact that your starter Pokemon, whether it be if you're playing Let's Go or Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu, your Pikachu has a water type move, electric type moves, and also double kick, which can destroy, literally obliterate the first gym with Brock, as long as you just catch maybe 10 Pokemon in one, like in the first, like from the point from like Oak's Lab to Pewter City. Just catch like 5 to 10 Pokemon. You'll have enough levels. You'll destroy that gym. Oh, also, wait. And let's not forget. You also need to enter gym. You need to do requirements, which literally tell you what to do. And this is the problem, right? Show, don't tell. That's the problem. The game is telling you what to do to succeed rather than like just letting you do it on your own and showing you like the world. Okay, explore it, man. Hey, the gym, guess what? You're gonna have to do trial and error. That's where the fun in games comes. It comes from trial and error. Why do people love Dark Souls? Because Dark Souls is a hard game. I'm not saying Pokemon should be Dark Souls levels. That's insane. My point is, Dark Souls is a challenging game. It's trial and error. You gotta try your way out, not be told exactly what to do. That's where the problem is with these games. And what you're trying to argue is that, oh, people, because they only bring up 2 arguments, and that's this one, that, oh, people are angry about encounters being gone. No, they're angry about encounters being not worth it anymore. They're just Pokemon you instantly catch. There is no reason, there's no challenge in it. That's where the problem is. We're just angry, I guess. I'm not really angry, but I'm just frustrated that all you can do now is just throw Pokeballs. There is no challenge in that. It's just boring after a while. You're gonna see it. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna be so fucking boring. It gets boring playing Pokemon Go. I get bored of playing Pokemon Go for over 30 minutes. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. This game is just boring at this point. Like, all I'm doing is throwing Pokeballs. It's fucking boring. It's just, there's nothing to it. If I could battle, at least it would be more fun. Because that's the point. Battling is the fun part of Pokemon. That's where you should be, what you should be doing. And then this guy makes an argument later on here that, oh, he's not a fan of turn-based games. Why do you play Pokemon then? Pokemon's literally a turn-based game. That's what it's been since day one. That's what it's always been. Hey, should they innovate in the actual turn-based battles? That's where we should have a discussion. Not about the encounters being removed or like the encounters being in the overworld or whatever. That's fine. I think everybody's okay with that. But what we should be arguing about is maybe, you know, maybe they can change around the battle system. Maybe that would be more interesting, but still keep the battle system there for like actually encountering Pokemon so that when you find a Pokemon in the overworld, you can actually battle it and then maybe catch it with the Pokemon Go catch mechanic, because that would be interesting. That'll be several layers of gameplay, right? Oh yeah, you know, maybe you battle a Pokemon and you defeat it and you're like, hell yeah, man, it's defeated. Now you go into the catching screen, and this catching screen, you can throw the Pokeball and it feels great. And maybe, hey, if you want to make it, you know, speed it up more, make the text go way faster, have a, you know, even faster speed up for the text so you can skip through all the unnecessary text, or maybe you can run away faster from Pokemon and that sort of stuff, right? There could be so many layers to this, but instead, you're arguing that we should just let it be dumbed down as much as possible, which is just so stupid to me.
I don't mean the option to pay to circumvent a tedious part of the game by way of repels.
Probably the biggest...
That's a gameplay aspect. Repels are a gameplay aspect. Repels aren't something that, like, it's not like you're playing, like, Call of Duty and you're paying for loot boxes to get a weapon that will arbitrarily make you more powerful because you suck at the game, so you have to get these things to get stronger. No, repels are there just to make it like, you know, it's just a part of the game. They're a part of it. They've always been a part of the game. They're there to just help you out when you already have high enough level Pokemon, or maybe you're running through a cave and you just don't want to go through the hassle. Guess what? You buy repels by actually getting the money in game, and boom, you're done. This way, now, you never read repels. Repels aren't even a thing in these games at this point, because all you do is just slid around those Pokemon. That's all you gotta do. Now, I'm skipping through as much as possible because this video is already getting long, so I'm gonna get through it real quick.
Annoying? Probably not, but I'm open to new ideas.
Well, that's the problem. None of these are new IDs. All this is just Pokemon Go, features, quote unquote, put into Pokemon, the main series games. And I really thought they were going to do the vice versa. And Pokemon Go was going to get like the features of the main series games or the mainline games on console. And, they were going to be shoved over to the Pokemon Go game. But instead, we're doing vice versa here, which is really dumb to me. But then again, whatever.
It's completely intact. So the core mechanics of Pokemon are still a major part of the game.
Yeah, they're still there, but you literally argued a second ago that, oh, they're stupid. Essentially, oh yeah, you can take on trainers and that's it. You can literally level up so easily. I mean, hey, you want to level up your whole team. You've got EXP share on all your fucking Pokemon. Every single Pokemon has EXP share. You can just level like this. That's a Pokemon thing that's been a bigger problem. People hate that EXP share is available across the board. Sometimes it's good if you're playing a grindy game. Like, why do you think people love ROM hacks? People play hardcore ROM hacks because they are really hard. They're supposed to be really hard games, so you're gonna struggle your way through. But hey, it's rewarding. Struggling through games and making them more difficult, it makes it more rewarding. There is no reward in this. How is it rewarding for you to throw a Pokeball, every single time you find a new Pokemon you encounter? Oh, just throw Pokeballs at it. Wow, where's the challenge? Oh, cool, I got it. Oh, wow. Where's the like endorphin release or whatever the hell that thing, like the freaking thing in your brain that makes you feel like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like that, the release doesn't happen because like there is no like hype feeling in this. Oh, maybe you'll be excited for when you're battling the legendaries and you catch those, sure. But for these general Pokemon, the general wild, it's not going to be a challenge. Oh, they can jump to left and right. Cool. Oh yeah, they can do a little bit of Rocky, a little bit of Muhammad Ali. Oh yeah, cool. Wow, how great. Well, that isn't enough though. That isn't depth in-depth gameplay. That isn't depth in the gameplay whatsoever. And you may argue, oh, Pokemon has never been depth. How has it not? All the previous games were interesting. You had different layers of gameplay, whether it be features or just the way the gameplay works. It was slightly different each time. You had so many Pokemon to choose from and so many Pokemon to approach gameplay differently from. For example, how did I take on Brock's gym? Well, I thought of this, right? I know Brock has a rock type gym and I can't catch any like water types ahead of like, taking him on. So what can I do? Oh, well, I remember one thing. I do have the potential of catching a Nidoran in the route next to Victory Road, and I can use that Nidoran, level it up to like level 10, and then get double kick on it, and double kick should be really useful against Brock's gym to take him out really quickly. That is a thing where you got to do trial and error and try your way forward, do a little bit of research and that sort of stuff, and that's how I made my way forward. I loved finishing Pokemon freaking Ruby Sapphire when they first came out, the original ones, but then when I played Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they made it easier. They made it easier to get through the game and just like bypass everything. The general challenge wasn't there as much because the game was just feeling easier with like EXP shares and all that stuff. It made the game overall just go by very quickly, and you could easily just defeat almost everything. It just made the game easier and more casual, and that's why a lot of people have the problem with those games specifically, and also the lack of features, aka the Battle Frontier. And that's where we are worried for these games as well. And you do mention features here as well.
To mention, to further drive home Bob's point about the battle system, is that as far as we know, the way that stats are handled is largely unchanged. We still have an attack stat, special attack stat, defense stat.
Yeah, because those are essential things to Pokemon. If you were to remove the attack stat, the special attack, the special defense, all that stuff, and speed, if you were to remove those, then Pokemon wouldn't even be a thing anymore. Battles would be totally, like, arbitrary. You wouldn't even have to do them at all. If they had removed that, we would have been totally fucked. The reason why EVs and IVs exist is to add an extra layer of gameplay to it, to add an extra layer for people to kind of, like, look at. Now, why do these things exist? It's an extra thing. It's there as a feature, right? It's a feature of the gameplay. You don't need to go into it. You can play through Pokemon without checking your IVs, EVs, all that stuff anytime. You can just go through the game just straightforward without checking any of those things, right? You can go through 100%, but they are there to add extra depth for anybody who wants to go through the games in a different manner, or maybe make the run for themselves a bit more challenging. Maybe you want to do a Nuzlocke and stuff and that sort of stuff. These games actually are impossible to Nuzlocke. You can't do a Nuzlocke in these games unless you make up a brand new format for Nuzlocking, but in general, you can't even do it in these games. It's going to be literally impossible. So, I don't know, man, but either way, let's continue.
That and so on and so forth. It's not just simplified to 3 stats and CP like the OG Go game.
See, sorry, but CP is an awful freaking thing. Like, I hate CP because it's so hard for me to figure it out. It's the same thing as in, like, World of Warcraft, where they added an eye level, which I hated. Eye level is just so, like, it's not confusing, but they just boil it down to a single number, and I hate that. I hate that, like, in Pokemon Go, all it boils down to is a single number. And that's all you have. And I hate that. And now it's going to be also in these games. I've never been a fan of CP. And also the fact of how you actually, like, increase one Pokemon's this or that. Like, oh, maybe it's special defense, special attack, whatever it may be, right? You would have to use candies. And I hate that in Pokemon Go. I hate that you have to do that. Because literally you squish Pokemon and turn them into candy, essentially. Or you transfer them, whatever. But literally they're turned into food. You catch my drift. But either way, what I'm trying to say is, this is not a good system. CP is awful. I hate it. I think most people would probably have an issue. I hate it from Pokemon Go. I never liked it. I've always been like an advocate against it because I've never really enjoyed it myself. Then again, do other people enjoy that format? Do they like the way it works? Sure, that's fine. Hey, if you like it, you like it. That's all good for me, man. If you enjoy it, fair enough. But that's just my opinion. Either way, let's continue.
Also, it's not like Pokemon wasn't already on the verge of making battling less of a mystery box in recent entries anyway.
Have you played the latest Pokemon games? Have you seen the amount of intricacy that there are in some of these games, like when it comes to the statistics and stuff? That shit is insane.
Weaknesses are already being logged whenever you manage to land a super effective or effective move, as well as not very effective and completely ineffective moves.
Did we forget the fact that natures are essentially non-existent in these games?
EV training has already been simplified through super training. IV training and breeding overall was already being simplified through items like the Destiny Knot and NPCs that allow you to see your IVs. The beauty of
and that's why we didn't like Sun and Moon, because Sun and Moon was making things way too casualized and way too easy.
This, though, if you're a tryhard, you don't have to rely on any of it. Put all that arbitrary challenge on yourself all you want.
See, this is the problem. You're making it so condescending. Like, we just want it to be slightly more challenging without us having to make the challenge for ourselves. That's why Nuzlockes were invented, because the games were getting so easy that we needed something to make the actual challenge a bit more reasonable, because there was a lack of a challenge in the games whatsoever after a while of the games coming out. We just want the games to be slightly harder. That's why people have always been asking for a difficulty mode. That's why people were so excited when Black and White had a difficulty mode, and that people loved that feature. People loved it, and people wanted more of it, but guess what? Game Freak doesn't give that. Game Freak always removes features that people love and gives them shit in return each time. Once they give you a good feature, they'll never return it again, usually. They never, like, return that feature again. The Dexnav in Oras was amazing. The game itself was a little bit of a shit show, but shiny hunting in that game was fantastic. So it at least had something to offer in terms of features that was worthwhile. The problem with Let's Go is it's not offering anything in terms of features, and you're trying to make it sound like all we care about are IVs, EVs. In all honesty, I actually agree with you. I like that they simplified, like, the actual IV, EV, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like, you know, the general, like, statistics of Pokemon and stuff. I actually don't mind it being simplified, but that is just another thing being removed from the potential of making the game more in-depth and more fun and more challenging. You're just removing another feature and making it more simple.
Who invited this fucking nerd? Keep them playing the game? What's going to keep them leveling up all of their Pokemon? What's going to keep them wanting to catch them all?
In my opinion, this has to be the closest thing to a valid concern we've seen.
Yeah, the post-game. They talk about the post-game here. To go on about it for a while here. And then he makes the point, right here, he makes the point that, like, oh, you know, the post-game, that's just a sprinkle on top. That's the extra thing, right? Well, yes and no, when you think about it, right? So, yes, in the sense of, yeah, sure, it's an extra thing. You know, the post-game is an extra thing that's there once you've completed the base game. But also, those are there as a part of the gameplay, usually, as they make the game complete. The reason why the Battle Frontier was so great is because it made the game complete. It made the journey worthwhile, because you were rewarded in the end with something awesome for going through this, like, treacherous road of yours, defeating all these gyms, doing all the challenges and stuff. You were rewarded in a funny and, you know, in a fun and nice way, an enjoyable way. That's like a good feature. That's a good post-game type deal. And Delta episode was okay, pretty short, but the fact that they didn't have the, you know, Battle Frontier and stuff pissed people off, because it was a feature that people enjoyed, and they didn't have it there. They removed it. And that's where Let's Go falters right now. There's a lack of features. There's a lack of interesting new stuff, and that's where we have a problem. We don't care about, like, oh, you know, this and that being removed or whatever, as long as you replace it with something good. Oh, hey, you removed the ability to you know, battle Pokemon in the wild, and you replace it with just being able to catch them. Okay, at least make the catching more interesting. Make it so that the Pokemon, you know, maybe you have to, like, you know, do some specific motion and the Pokemon will be damaged, like, you know, hit or something, or knocked out, or do something interesting with it than just, like, throw. That isn't fun gameplay. That is not fun. That is less fun than you just pressing A to spam, like, Ember or some shit on a Caterpie. That is, like, it's way less fun to just, like, keep spamming a Pokeball straight forward 24/7. That's less fun, especially with, like, the way like it works with the console.
20% of game owners would.
So what? You're trying to tell me that, okay, if your logic here makes sense, so he's trying to make the sense that only 20% of people finish, they don't finish their games, whatever, like 20% of people finish their games. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So what? Just because people don't finish other games, this doesn't apply to Pokemon, by the way. You're taking an arbitrary number, just like across the board, that's just been statistically considered, whatever. You're taking that and you're being like, oh, just because other people haven't completed their games doesn't mean, means that, they shouldn't have to give you these extra features. Buddy, have you played Pokemon? What do people like about Pokemon? The post game. What does the post game offer? This is the same thing with World of Warcraft, right? With World of Warcraft, there's this like cycle, right? The journey from A to B is hella fun. You're leveling, especially vanilla, right? You level from 1 to 60, right? And that was the journey that you went through. It was insane and hard and whatnot. And then you come to the end, and this is where it gets amazing, where people just like go hardcore. You do raids with like a group, and you gotta coordinate well. It's like amazing. It's super rewarding, and it's amazing content, and it's a part of the whole journey, right? And so according to your logic, right, we should just, oh yeah, no. Don't add any extra features. Let the game be bare bones, as much bare bones as possible. Don't give them any extra things to do because people won't complete their games. They won't complete their games because the games are boring. That's why people are not completing games nowadays. The reason why Call of Duty games have less and less people playing the campaigns is because they make the campaigns really shitty. The campaigns don't have any character, no love, no care in them. They're just boring and arbitrary and just the same shit as always. No change. And that's where Pokemon is going. The story in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee looks to be the same shit that we've already gotten about 4 or 5 times now at this point, and it's kind of lame at this time. Like, we just don't need it anymore. We've seen it enough times to be like, okay, cool, we've already played through this. I think we've had enough of Kanto. Give us an interesting new story in a different new place with new characters and stuff. That's why people love the Sun and Moon story, because it was different. It was unique. It had interesting characters and different characters that, you could interact with. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of Sun and Moon in terms of features, but it had a good story. It had an interesting plot, and it had a different kind of style to it, and it had a more mature thing going for it. It had issues with Rival being pretty, measly or whatever, but like, it was interesting in one way or another, right? It had an interesting story. What's the problem with Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee? It looks like just like a really, really boring game, because we already know what it's all about. It's just Kanto. It's the same shit we've gone through already in the past. We've seen the gym leaders. We know what gym leaders we're getting. We know exactly all we're going to get in these games, and that's what makes it boring. There is no surprise here. There is nothing different. You're just going to get the same shit again, and yeah, I understand it. These games are not for us. And this is where the realization comes in. These games are not for us. These are not for me, you, and the people who play all the Pokemon games that usually come out for the unique new journeys. This isn't for us. This is just as a way for them to try, not that they will be able to, but for them to try to bring in Pokemon Go players to try to cash in as much as possible on the people that play Pokemon Go, which is totally fine. It's reasonable. It's a logical thing to do. I understand it. From a business point of view, that is logical and smart. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these games will be amazing, but right now they look pretty boring, and I understand why people aren't excited for them, because they're more expensive and they don't seem to be giving you, and they're not offering anything new or interesting. And you keep trying to make this argument that, oh, people are, you guys are stupid because you don't want innovation. Well, this isn't innovation. None of this is innovation. You're just taking features from a different game and adding them into Pokemon mainline and saying, oh, this is different than you, and just because it's different, you gotta like it. The same way that the Star Wars The Last Jedi was a shit show, because, oh, we gotta make it different. We gotta make it different. We gotta, change your expectations or whatever the hell, and hey, the movie ended up being a shit show. If you like it, good for you, but I think it was a horrible mess of a fucking movie, and that's just how I feel. But that's the same thing with Pokemon here. Just because something's different doesn't make it good. Let's continue.
Be a little bit hardcore medicine. Anything after the game ends is like a cherry on top. And for you hardcore Pokemon.
Well, here's the thing, right? For the cherry on top to be a cherry on top, the actual base game has to be good first of all. The post game should add to it, that's true, but if the post game isn't good enough on its own, then the base game isn't good enough on its own, then the post game should be able to make up for that. The same way, Ruby Sapphire for some people may have not been as fun in terms of, the general gameplay, or maybe Black and White maybe is a better one. Maybe the general gameplay for them wasn't that fun and the journey wasn't fun, but maybe the post game was good because you were able to like play it in a different difficulty and that sort of stuff. That's what the post game was for that game and stuff. That's what the issue is. You seem to be totally missing that aspect of things. Either way, let's continue.
Let's Go will be carried over into the more serious Pokemon 2019. See, doesn't that just sound ridiculous?
I find it equally ridiculous that, despite the fact that had Game Freak beeline the production of the full-fledged Pokemon game for 2018, we would be guaranteed to get a worse game than...
No, you're so wrong here. I'm sorry, but you're just wrong. Look at Cerebi, right? Cerebi posted, or Joe Merrick, who runs Cerebi, posted a few weeks ago saying that currently, Let's Go Pikachu, or his website right now, has the lowest amount of traffic it's ever had in the history of his, oh, sorry, not ever, sorry, I'm over exaggerating there. It's having about the same amount of traffic as it had during 2015. For anybody who doesn't know what happened in 2015 for Pokemon, that was the year that we had the biggest Pokemon drought because there was no big Pokemon news, no big Pokemon game, no information, nothing interesting happening. It was a totally dead year, and the year before we got ORAS, which people just kind of burned through really quickly, and then when 2015 rolled around, it was a dead year. So imagine that, right? The website has the same amount of traffic as during a year where we had no game. So this idea that, oh, they should have, let's just listen to what he said again properly here.
Had Game Freak beeline the production of the full-fledged Pokemon game for 2018, we would be guaranteed to get a worse game than we're getting now. If Let's Go didn't exist, we just wouldn't have a 2018 game. No.
Yeah, and does it make a difference? I would have preferred them not making this game, not making Let's Go, and spending that extra time making a better game for next year. Because guess what? This game has as much impact as nothing, essentially. That's how much impact it has. It has as much impact as a year where we had no things happening. And you maybe make the argument, oh, that's just Cerebi, right? Cerebi is the biggest website for this shit. Cerebi is the place that keeps track of most of the stuff. And I, as much as any other person, just like Joe Merrick and just like everybody else, we're all hoping that this is a great game. We all hope so. But don't try to make these arguments that just fall flat and try to make fun of people and literally ridicule people for thinking a different way and feeling a different way. So yeah, either way, they close out here just by saying that...
Don't work, but adopt the things that do. Still not too sure if motion controls are the way to go. For Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, leave it in the comments below.
Okay, so... Here's my point again. I feel like when you made this video, you should have just been less condescending. Just don't go into it making fun of people, especially your introduction here. Please don't make fun of people like this. This is just stupid. Be more reasonable and go into it like in a more mature way, because that was just childish in my eyes. Go into it more mature and more reasonably. I even was about to leave a comment here. You should, like, 2 minutes in, when I was going to say 2 minutes in, I'm already like, you have a lot of fallacies in your points here. Just don't make fun of people in that way. Just give your point and also give the counterpoint, and don't just take up 2 points, because that's literally 3 points. That's all you take up here. You talk about the competitive people and the hardcore people, and that they're all pissed off about random encounters, and that the games that don't have like IVs, EVs, whatever the hell you want to call it, or either one of those, that's all the things you bring up. Bring up the actual issues we have, which is the lack of features, the lack of interesting stuff, and also you did mention post game, which you said was the thing that probably is the biggest issue. But then you try to play it down by saying, oh, it's just an extra thing, so you shouldn't be pissed off if it's not there. It's a huge part of Pokemon. What's the post game? Shiny hunting. What was so fun in ORAS? It was the Dex Nav. It made shiny hunting super fun. There were so many different methods also for shiny hunting. That's post game for us. If you think post game is just like some arbitrary thing, like an extra episode with like some new extra story or an increased difficulty, whatever, that's not all there is. There is more stuff. The Wi-Fi battles are post game. The shiny hunting is post game. The battle spot, battle frontier, all that stuff, that's post game, and people love those things. That's why we complain when we don't see them. There is a reason. Why do people hate Masuda sometimes? Because, well, he didn't add the Battle Frontier to ORAS. But either way, hey, you made this video, you have some interesting points. I feel like you just should have gone about it better and not just sounded very, in my eyes, a little bit like it sounded like you were a little bit condescending. And I am sorry if I got it the wrong way. If I come off the wrong way, I do apologize. It's not my intentions. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Those are my points. I hope I don't come off wrong here. If you do hate the video, feel free to dislike it. If you like the video, like it, all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ruffle Rowlett. Have a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.